Hello, good day. This is Kingsley Abedi. I am a child of God, and that is very important to me. Whether you call me first class graduate of finance, whether you call me chartered accountant, experienced portfolio manager, those are secondary, right? The most important thing is that after all the stocks, after all the finance, after all the investment, after making money, what shall it profit you if you gain the whole world and lose your soul? Think about it, where you are going to spend eternity. You don't know when Jesus will come, neither do you know when you will die. So if you have not, please ensure you give your life to Christ today. Now let's go straight to the business of the day. We are going to start with common investment strategy. So long-term investment strategy. Now, so what do I mean? What do we mean by investment strategy? So basically, because people usually ask, especially people who are new to the stock market, they will say, I want to invest some money. Okay, so I'll ask them, what is your tenure? How long are you looking at investing? So they don't even know, because they have heard of stocks, because they have heard that, oh, it's good to put money in stocks. They just want to put money. They don't have a clear plan. They don't have a clear purpose, of what they want to do, with that their funds, or when they intend to pull out. They don't even have a clear returns on that investment, a clear proposed return on that investment. They don't have it. Okay, so that is why one of the reasons why this is very important. So for long-term investment, anything from 1 year and above. So we have short-term, maybe from day trading, right? Very soon, the NGX will be having a day trading uh, opportunity. Okay, but for now, that may not be possible. However, if you are using some platforms, you can buy and sell the same day. Okay, but of course, we are still working on T+2, and they say from June 1st, we'll go to T+1. It means that when you buy a stock, it can clear, the next day, the next trading day. So, but the truth is that we have the capacity to do T+0 to make everything clear. And yes, of course, there are some brokers that even when you sell stocks, you can even collect your money, that same day, or you can even buy another stock on that same day. So that's for short term. Short term, let's say between 1 day and let's say 2 months. Then medium term, from that 2 months to 1 year, right? Then long term, anything above 1 year, you want to keep your money for long, right? For a long time, you want to compound your wealth. You already have a clear plan. You already have a clear strategy that this is what you want to do, and you want to build wealth. That's the actual word. You have a clear plan that you want to build wealth. So let me give you an example. There was I know somebody, right, who has money to pay rent in the next 2 3 months, and she says she wants to quickly invest in stocks and make some more profit with the profit, and keep the profit and use her money to pay rent. Of course, I was shocked, because the person wanted to take that kind of risk, and funny enough, is a lady. Okay, so there are people who do that. For her, that is a medium term strategy. Okay, for somebody like me, I'm investing on the long term, because currently, most of the money you see I put in stocks, I don't intend getting them back anytime soon. I'm ready to wait, to leave it for the long term. That's why I take my time to invest in good stocks. And no matter what, these are not my regular expenses. Okay, so it's like building wealth. You want to build wealth. You want to leave enduring wealth, for next generation. And of course, if you want to be medium term, you want to do buy and sell. And if that is your strategy, that's fine. Okay. So, but firstly, just have a clear plan. What is your term? What term of investment do you want to invest? And of course, that clarity will make you to choose what strategy you want to adopt. So the strategy you are going to adopt for short term is going to be different from the strategy you are going to adopt for medium term, and also it's going to be different from the strategy you adopt, for long term. Okay, so that is what you should note. So what are examples of long term strategy? Let me start from short-term strategy. For short-term strategy, basically, you don't need to do so much fundamental analysis. I can assure you that if you are just focusing on short-term, all you have to do is just to focus on the charts. Okay. just focus on the chart and see what exactly is going on. Let's say, for instance, you look at this chart now, you can see that it is down here. That's the price was here. It went to this place. It went down here. It went up here. It went down. So if it comes down like this, for a short-term trader, you know that the next thing it's going to do is going to come up, right? And it came up here. It came down here. It went up, came down, went up, came down, went up. So now it has come down. It's going to come down for quite some time. Then after that, definitely to most likely go up. Okay, that's how short-term traders think. They look at, they pay attention to the chart. So their strategy is going to be like, okay, in the next 1 week, 1 day, 2 days, I'm going to just make my 10% profit and just move to the next stock or just exit. They don't want to make losses. And of course, if they have, since they are short-term traders, if they go into this particular trade now, and let's say instead of it going up, it starts coming down, they have already set a stop loss that my loss must not exceed 5%. I am going to exit if it exceeds 5%. Okay, so that is how short-term traders think. So they just buy low and sell high, or they can buy high and sell higher, because they want to make quick profit and quickly leave. Okay, so from and move on to the next stock, or they take their cash. For medium-term investors, they they might have seen possibility in this particular stock, and they believe that in the next 2 months, 3 months, it will do well. Just like the example I gave, for Unilever. Okay, and after some months, Unilever has done significantly well. We can see Maybaker that I recommended how many months ago, right? For those who bought Maybaker now, it's already at around 50 something naira now. And then it was around, let's say 39. There was a time it was 39, it was 44, just like that. Now it's closed at 50 naira. And the truth is that it will continue, it will likely do well, because before I recommended it, I did proper, fundamental analysis, on Maybaker. So that's for medium term. You know that you want to leave your money for a certain period of time, of which after then, you take your money. So for long term investors, they don't really care. They don't really care about what is happening now, or what is going to happen in the next 2 days, 3 days, or 1 week. Even if the economy is crashing, long term investors don't care, because they just know that, you see, the stock market, I'm not putting my recurrent money there. Money spent on recurrent expenses, they are not putting it there, right? They already have their money for regular expenses kept in a proper place. And of course, they know that come what may, they are going to live, they are going to succeed, they are going to survive. Okay, so they are just putting that money there on a long term. And so those are the kind of people you see that you heard that they buy stock for 5 naira, and in less than 5 years, that stock is trading 100 naira. It's long. People who are patient enough, to wait, for that long term. Those are the people that really get that those kind of results. And of course, if for long-term investors that did not do proper due diligence, they can buy a stock for 5 naira, and after 5 years, the stock will remain at 5 naira. Or for some of them, you can hear that that particular stock has even been delisted, so they've lost all their capital. Okay, so they've lost all their money. So that's another. So that's for long term. Now the question will not be some. I know some people will be asking in their mind, which is best, right? So what I will say is there's no best strategy. That is what I would say. There's no best strategy. I know people who have made money from swing trading. I know people who have made money from short-term trading. I also know people who have made good money from long-term trading. So basically, it depends on your work. And also, I know people who their work is trading on stocks on the NGX, right? That's their full-time job. Like me now, I have my own job, right? That is not my full-time job, so I can afford to keep money, for the long term. But there are people that their work Monday to Friday is just trading on stocks. Okay, so I cannot say this is best or this is best. However, I can tell you that it is best you choose the strategy that works best for you. Okay, so for short-term strategy, like I said, you focus on the chart. For medium term, you choose stocks with good, fundamentals, right? And you believe that you also check the chart. You check the position, and you would have seen a little bit of positive signs before you proceed. Then for long term, your own is just to focus on the fundamentals, ensure that they pay good dividend, ensure that the earnings per share is okay, ensure that the cash flow position is sound, before you go into investing in that particular stock. Now we are going to move on to risk management, the importance of diversification, position sizing, and stop loss orders, understanding risk tolerance. In finance, what we know is that the higher the risk, the higher the returns. And a lot of people um, have not factored that into them taking investment decisions. Okay, some people want to take risk, right? Some people don't want to take risk and they want higher returns. Why, it may be very, very unrealistic. In fact, I even spoke with somebody this morning who wants to make an investment. He's not ready to lose so much of his capital. Okay, of which I understand him, and I also recommended some stocks that are very, very stable for him. Okay, so that is just how you should act. You as an investor, if you are a short-term investor, know that you can take so much risk. Uh you must be a risk lover for a short-term investor. Even medium term investor, your risk should be medium, right? On the average. But for long-term investors, those people, they are not really taking so much risk. Well, it now depends on how you look at it anyway. If they have done due diligence, they are not taking so much risk because they know that the company will definitely do well. They just put the money there. And so for long-term investors, all you have to do is just to do, like I said, do proper due diligence, do check earnings per share, check the growth trajectory. Have they been making positive impact? Have they been growing? Have they been doing well all these years? Is the revenue increasing? Is the cash flow statement okay? Are they paying dividend? You cannot underestimate the importance of dividend, in long-term investing. So if you look at GTCO, for example, GTCO and Zenith, they've been doing excellently well. In fact, even MTN too. These are stocks that pay good dividend, and these are stocks that even Dangote Cement, that ordinarily long-term investors will want to put their money there because they know that something good will likely come out of it. So when you want to do investment, you consider the risk that is involved. Okay, like I said, for short-term investor, the risk is high. For long-term investor, if you do proper due diligence, the risk is minimal, right? So the importance of diversification. We know diversification reduces risk. Okay, so if you diversify in more than one portfolio, let's say you have like 20 million to invest, I will not advise you to put all the money in bank. What happens if the banking sector experiences a crash? Right? So you can put your money in banking sector. You can put it in oil and gas. Let's say Aradel, Dangote refinery IPO that is coming up. Right? You can also look at MTN in the telecom sector, consumer goods. You can look at Unilever manufacturing. Let's say Boa Cement, just like that. So if you must understand the importance, of risk in your portfolio. Now, also position sizing. So this one basically is about as it relates to short-term investors, right? Short-term traders. uh, when you have to understand how much you are looking at, how much total money that you want to invest, and where exactly are you putting that money. So these are things that you have to consider. And you may not really necessarily put all your money in just one particular stock. And of course, for short-term traders, you should understand stop loss. If you know that you want to invest in this particular stock, okay, just know that if it goes south, if it goes the other way, you are ready to lose 5%. And yeah, if you are okay to lose that 5%, that's fine. Then you can go ahead with the risk. Then we talk about the psychology of trading, right? Now, there's what we call fear of missing out. A lot of you see them investing in a particular stock because of this fear. They know that this stock has started doing well. Everybody is investing in it. So they too, rather than doing proper due diligence, you see them going to invest in it because of the fear of missing out. And at the end of the day, they get caught in a stock that is about to correct itself. And when that happens, you see them losing money, just like what happened to people who invested in Stanbic IBTC 30. A lot of people, something that's supposed to worth like 3,000, people bought at 7,000 and it got to 5 and they are confused. What do they do? Because they did not even do proper due diligence. Okay, so just like also what happened to Geregu, at the end of the day, the investors, are biting their fingers. The price is up now, they cannot even sell. Up to today, Geregu is on full offer, nobody is buying. And when I checked, it was having about over 1,000, over 1 million units of offers, right? Nobody want to buy. So it means that before that particular stock will eventually do well, it means that about 5 billion must have gone into it, 5 billion worth of trade, 5 billion naira worth of trade, because those 1 million units would have been cleared out. So basically, you just don't need to be driven by the fear of missing out. Money is not easy to come by generally, so do your proper due diligence, before you invest in any stock. Okay, so that is how far we can go for today from my end. So for those who have questions, you can quickly come up with your questions so that we can take it and then we call it a day.
My question is that I wanted to know if you can quickly explain the relationship between a stock price action and the volume at that particular price.
Okay, just stay with me. Let me use one of my training accounts, Access, right? So these are the order book for those who know how to check. This is it. For those who don't know, see it here too. So these are the offer. It means that a total of 14 million is on offer. So the volume significantly, you can see that the offer is exceeding the bid. So most likely more people want to sell, than more people want to buy. Okay, so and also if you look at the chart here, you see that this 24.95 is pointing downwards. So based on this, the chart, the order and the volume, it will most likely go down, on the short term. Okay, so I've been talking about Geregu since. I want us to also look at it for ourselves. So because this particular Geregu shocks me because I feel for investors. Honestly, I feel for people who have put money there. This is 1132, right? 1,132 naira for one single unit, of the share. So now, but let's look at what is happening in the other book. 4 million people want to sell. Nobody is buying. Can you see? So if you are among these 4 million people that want to sell, or you want to sell out of these 4 million units, nobody is ready to buy it. This particular person has 4.7 million units. Only one person is ready to sell at even a 10% loss, right? He wants to sell 4.7 million units. 4.7 million units is about 4.7 billion naira, or over 5 billion naira of this Geregu. So he needs his money urgently. Do you understand? He needs cash. He has asset worth of about 5 billion naira. Now he cannot even get 1 naira of it because he has invested in a stock that somebody has, exited and nobody else is buying. So only this person now, this 4.7 million units at over 5 billion naira. 5 billion, we're not talking about 500 million, over 5 billion. So with this now, definitely you know that the price of Geregu is coming down. That is how price action, affects stock price. I want to believe that answered the question. Do we have another question?
Thank you, coach. It
Do we
does.
have another question? Just one more question before we close. Okay. If there is no other question, we would call it a day today. Thank you so much for joining, and of course, we'll see you in the next class. So please do have a lovely weekend. Bye bye.